Although the ideal situation would be that impact and business go hand in hand, that they are aligned, both research and experience tell us that that's often not the case. It's not easy to find a real balance between business and impact, and many organizations are struggling with that. It's important to get a clear picture of the situation in order to find a good match between organizations and potential impact investors. Let's start with venture types. The first one is where business and impact are in line. A good example for this is Rehago, a social venture that uses virtual reality glasses to support the rehabilitation of people who have suffered a stroke, for instance. The better their product, the more will they sell of it, and the more people will benefit. Another example is Omo Lab, who have developed a font and several online applications that help dyslexic people read. The second type are trade-off models where impact and business might go hand in hand, but only up to a certain point. Take Blauherz, for instance, a brand that produces fashionable but also practical pants for people sitting in wheelchairs. What is special about them, beyond their unique product, is that they also employ people with disabilities in producing it. This puts some limits to their production capacity, and the more fashion sold is not automatically the better for the organization and the people it employs. The third type are ventures with multiple bottom lines. A prime example is the Roma Partnership, active in 4 Eastern European countries. Some of their activities are business-driven and financially stable, such as startup and business development for Roma people. However, they are also running non-profit activities such as education and other supports to increase community livelihoods among the Roma. The fourth category are impact model only types of ventures, which don't have a business component but can be highly innovative. An example for this type is an association called Straßenblues, which does not provide traditional homeless support but encourages homeless people to vote in general elections, for example, and thereby enhances their foundational rights. During the Corona crisis, as city centers became void of people, the organization started a new initiative where individuals could donate money online and social workers would distribute that money to people living on the streets. This spectrum of venture types is met by an equally complex landscape of investors. First, there is traditional grant making for worthy social projects on a continuous basis. The second type is what we could call engaged grant making, that seeks to provide accelerator grants for developing beacon projects that could emerge into something bigger, or that take high risks to spur social innovation. Then we have a social investment area that seeks to balance financial returns and social impact, but prioritizes impact. This is an area highly populated by so-called venture philanthropists, for example. Impact investing in turn tends to seek profitable investments with potential large-scale effects that are found in renewable energy or what is sometimes called social tech, for instance. Finally, we have responsible investing that adheres to ESG, that is, social, environmental and governance indicators, where the main priority is doing no harm rather than producing positive social change. The dotted lines signal that these areas are not clear-cut. The European Venture Philanthropy Association, EVPA, distinguishes between investing for impact and investing with impact, which further outlines that different rationales are governing the current investment for good landscape. What is important to realize is that we have the duality of strategy straddling between impact and business on the side of both the social ventures and the investors. This has important implications as for the match between the two. While impact model only ventures will need support from grant-making areas, the further we move to the right, the more can ventures draw on the full spectrum of finance. While this gives the inline types of ventures the greatest discretion as to what they choose, it also increases the risk that a mismatch between venture and investor priorities might tip the model out of balance. The bottom line here is, venturing and investing socially requires decision makers on all sides to take more criteria into account. This makes the intersection between social finance and social entrepreneurship so exciting, but also considerably more complex than traditional finance.